Hello, in this POPUPOLOGY tutorial I'll be showing you how to fold the Alpine scene design from my range of Origamic architecture pop-up cards that are available online. So once you have downloaded and cut your template, you should end up with something that looks like this. And as you can see in the overall layout of our design, it's composed of 3 layers in sequence, and it depicts the scenery in kind of triangulated or angular facets, starting with our deer shape or stag shape in the foreground and moving backwards with our kind of figurative elements and scenery going recessing further and further back into the background. But in order to begin, what we do, as in all the other projects, is just to establish a very shallow fold along our baseline, as indicated by my thumbs, and literally just push along that perforation and keep a hold of the card from the back. So you support this back plane with your 3 digits from the back, and just take care not to snag these tree elements in their corresponding apertures, as that tends to happen as you are making that plane protrude forwards. But once it's released, you want to just keep on pressing, both keeping a hold on those perforations on the baseline, which is the spine of the card, and incrementally pressing forward with your digits on the back along this plane as evenly as possible. So just make sure that you are doing it both from the left hand side and also on the right here with a digit. But we want to just establish a very shallow degree of fold and not to go too far, as that puts too much pressure on the underdeveloped areas. So before we overfold, we go on to the next layer and start to concentrate on this baseline. And again, by a combination of support from the back with gentle pushes and just literally kind of holding this section here on this plane with a pinch, we can start to develop our folds further. But nothing too dramatic at this stage. As you can see, we just want an initial shallow degree of fold before we get to our foreground, which is our stag, and that's just very simply deployed by pressing forward the main body of our figurative outline, and possibly kind of making sure that this hinge mechanism is where you apply most of the pressure from the back. And then you just simply go back to the middle section, and in order to accentuate these folds, and especially this mountain fold, you just want to pinch the center, which is the middle plane, and the plane behind it at the convergence of these folds in the base, and you want to be kind of pushing one towards the other, kind of just gently kind of shifting those planes, converging as it were upon one another. And as you can see, with just very tiny incremental movements like so, you start to develop those creases. And once you get to about that stage, which is literally just a very, very shallow degree of fold, you again go back to your design and just adjust where it needs to be adjusted. So again, avoiding any snagging, and you start to further develop your folds. And you can do this by literally concentrating first on the deer. So as you can see, I'm coming further and further forward in space, and then progressively going to the second layer, and then finally the third. And the third background layer is actually literally, or actually it's the fourth base layer as it were, is where we want to kind of now apply an even distributed pressure. and bring our entire composition forward together in conjunction. So as you are actually folding, kind of with a pinching motion, your back of the card and the base of the card together, you will see that those layers will want to start to collapse almost naturally until they get to a certain stage where you see the deer kind of lagging behind in terms of development. And at this point, it's easier to see if I hold it from profile, but you can see that what we need to do is just bring that plane forward, and whilst at the same time support the back of our card, and incrementally as we bring this plane forward, just literally push it or sort of nudge it forwards and incrementally close it up. You want to kind of pinch, especially concentrating in this base segment where all our supporting folds converge, and at the same time you want to be kind of squeezing your card as much as possible, applying even pressure on both the top and the bottom planes. And at this level of collapse you can just adjust certain areas, like in this case you can see the antlers and one of the trees snagging. You just want to kind of go carefully as you are waiting for the full collapse. And as you can see, again, these are slightly tricky kind of areas that need adjusting before you actually go to a full collapse. So you need to release those layers, and basically if you make sure that the stag is the first one to actually go horizontally and then follow it up with the other layers, then you should be okay with your full collapse. And all that remains at this stage is just to tap your card down from the back, just to establish all the creases further. And when you open your card, you should end up with kind of mechanism working in space like this. And it has quite an interesting kind of landscape in space effect with perspective through those layers. And at this stage it's ready for your personalization or decoration if you wish. And also if you want to just cover up this void which is left by our protruding shapes from the front, then I'd recommend that you use a color transparency paper, which you can get in craft stores and also online. And what you get with the color transparency is a really beautiful luminous effect, which if I hold it up against the light, you can actually see already gives you a very, very interesting visual aspect to the whole composition. So I do recommend that you use the color transparency for this reason, which just needs to be fixed in place by a few well-positioned glue tabs in the corners. But if I show you a different color, you can see it's radically different, and you get some really subtle hues and shades. But really it's up to your own experimentation, and do try out different stocks and papers and see, and basically just experiment. So have fun with this project, and do check out all of my other videos available online. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.